Josie is a country music dynamo from Far North Queensland who kicked off the year with a very busy Tamworth Country Music Festival where I met her in person for the first time. She has released the very popular singles Down Here and Freight Man, and her latest single is the really infectious Our Place. So I'm going to ask her all about it. Hi, Josie.
Hello, Sophie. How you going?
Very well, thank you. I'm very pleased to have met you in person because even though I'd spoken to you a couple of times, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, real live entertainer.
Oh, cool. It's like, oh, you actually exist. That's cool.
That's right. Now, the last time we spoke on Zoom, it was for your single Freight Man, which was about your father, and I met him as well in Tamworth.
Yeah, you did.
I'm wondering if he's become a bit of a celebrity thanks to the song.
Oh, don't even get me started. We're at Country Fest on the weekend, and oh my God, the amount of people that like just wanted he got so many photos. He got more photos with people than I did, and I'm not even joking with you. But he also like he'd walk out from behind the stage, go out in the crowd, and he'd like instigate it. He'd be standing there like, "Do you know who I am?" on the freight. And so many people, he'd like just pull out his camera and just, "Come on, guys, come on." Like he just started trying to take a photo. And yeah, he was all over it. He gave away his like Josie hat that says "Catch you on the flip side" to someone out there because they were a fan. He's like, "Hey, have my hat," and signed it. And he's become quite a celebrity. And I mean, especially out like west because he's still driving trucks, obviously. And everywhere he goes, he reckons he's out to stations that he hasn't been to in a while, and he'll pull up and they're like, "This is the Freight Man. You know, you're famous, mate." And like, yeah, what on earth? I've created a monster.
Well, now you may perhaps need to create some merch to go along with it. He may need his own line.
He's already, demanding a Freight Man shirt, but one like just for him so that
Right.
I went into his work the other day and went into the office at the depot, and the lady said, asking him about getting new work shirts. And he's like, "Yeah, well, we got to get the Freight Man shirt, like the Freight Man work shirt." And they're literally sitting there talking about genuinely making his company make him Freight Man work shirts.
Right. Well, look, it's not a bad idea. It advertises their business
Yeah.
after all.
Well, and being that they were in my music video and everything, Woodham's Petroleum, he reckons he's had so many people, reaching out to him going, "I've had more leads from Josie than I have from anything else." And he's going, "Oh, maybe we'll change the name to Josie Petroleum." So look out on the roads.
Well, there we go. Look, I love that you've created that particular kind of monster, but I'm also wondering about the reaction of your family and friends to the song being released, because before you released it, it was known amongst family and friends as the Onion song because it made them cry. So how do they feel about the song being out, and also how do they feel about your father's behavior?
Oh yeah, I think the whole family were like, "Oh, here we go, Dad telling everyone all about his stories again while we're at Country Fest." And he's every time that he'll talk to someone, he pulls out his phone and has to show him his map of everywhere that he's been. So we're all like, "Okay, Dad, yep, it's getting to your head, isn't it?" But everyone's loving it. And I mean, I've just found out the other day that it's at 21 in the CMT charts, which is really exciting. And that's amongst like everyone, all the US acts and stuff. So I think we're all like the hype's kind of coming back around, I guess, for Freight Man. And I mean, it feels like it never stopped. It's been 6 months, I think, since I released it.
Yeah.
And now it's 21 on the CMT charts. So yeah, it feels like it's the gift that keeps giving, and everyone's, always hyped about it and excited about it and never sick of it, which I'm glad. Please don't ever get sick of it, anyone.
Yeah. But it's interesting, as you said, it was released about 6 months ago and it's got that great chart position now, because I guess in the age of streaming, it must feel like a lot of pressure as an artist to have things perform super well quite quickly. It's like, get in the charts, get on the playlists. But it just goes to show that when there's a great song, there can be longevity, and also it can take people time to discover it. It certainly seems like word of mouth is working very hard with that song.
Absolutely. And it has been one that, is the gift that keeps giving. It's getting consistent streams every single day, and like almost the same amount. Sometimes it'll have a spike, and it's very weird. But truthfully, like, it is almost getting more streams per day than Our Place is right now. And Our Place is just fresh, off into the world. So it's, and it is a big pressure thing. It's like, especially after I've had Freight Man that's performed so well for me, being only my second ever song, I think it's going pretty damn well. But the pressure, I think, coming off the back of that release into this one and feeling like, am I doing enough? Is this, hitting the same, targets that Freightman was? And it's been pretty tricky for myself to, step back and go, no, maybe it does take a little bit of time. Maybe I need to put in a bit more effort. Maybe people aren't just connecting to it as much as the Freightman story. And yeah, it's tricky, but I'm certain that, a lot of artists have the same questions and a lot of the same doubts and whatnot. And I'm not alone. I know that. But yeah, it's hard. It's weird.
Well, I think it's hard and weird because it's changing all the time. It's not fixed. There used to be a certain way to release music. It went on for decades, and then you're all kind of thrown into this scenario where everything's a bit random. You don't know what's going to be the right thing to do for your song. I mean, I think you're playing gigs. People will find out who you are. It may well be that then our place takes off too, or that it just does take a bit longer for whatever reason, but does reach the same kind of audience and popularity. And so, yeah, I do feel for artists because I just think you can't really know the right or wrong way to do things. It's just a matter of doing whatever you can.
No formula. There is no formula. It's like a roller coaster. It's up and down. And I mean, I'm only on my third song, so I can't imagine, the up and downs that artists with albums out there feel. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Did the success of Freightman actually mean that you wanted to wait a bit before releasing Our Place? Because 6 months between singles, some people would say, with streaming release every 3 months. So did you purposely pull back a bit?
I pulled back a bit more so because I didn't have the songs yet that I put out. I didn't have anything like in my back pocket. And I like looking back, I mean, obviously everyone's going to look back and be critical of how they release stuff. And I'm like, maybe I should have, waited a little bit, gone back to the studio, recorded some more. So I had a bit more like behind me before I hooked in, but I was ready. I was like, let's put the music out there. And I think, because it's, I had this long lasting effect of, like people streaming it, I think it hasn't felt as long because saying 6 months out loud, that seems like a really long time.
But I was surprised when you said it.
Yeah, it hasn't felt like that long because it has really, it's still got legs. It's still doing stuff. And I think people, they're not sick of it yet. People are still talking to me about it to this day and listening to it. And yeah, I think that's been a good thing though. So it let me have that time to kind of go back to the studio, write some more songs, come up with whatever I'm doing, and booking in these shows and stuff that I've got as well. So I think it was a good amount of time, which flew by. Didn't even feel like 6 months. And a lot of people with the whole like, you got to release music every 6 weeks. I could probably not do that unless I had a record deal.
Yeah, that's right, because you're an independent artist. Yeah, it's expensive, and you have other work to help finance this. But I guess part of what must be interesting for you as an artist is to see that you've released those first 2 singles, which are origin stories about you, really. And so knowing that personal element, that authentic storytelling really does connect and work, because the first single did super well too. So
yeah, 100%. And my next single is kind of like a sequel to Freightman. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that performs as well, because I think, it's really been the authentic genuineness of my storytelling that people are connecting to, I guess. And I mean, at the same time, it's also like the controversy with my Down Here song, the whole 18-wheeler, like that really took off and sent the algorithm in all the right places. So maybe I just need to talk about 18-wheelers a little bit more and we're on the right track.
What was the controversy? I don't think I caught up with that.
Yeah, so technically in Australia, there's not that many 18-wheelers. They're 22-wheelers, or I mean, my dad's got like 70 something. So a lot of people, well, not people, truckers, they were a bit butthurt about that. They were like, we don't have 18-wheelers going across the Nullarbor. Like, last time that happened was the 1900s. Like, people were seriously really offended by it. But the amount of comments that were flooding through from that, it was like, a chain reaction. And then it was being pushed into For You pages on TikTok, and people that didn't care about how many wheels were on a truck, they were like, oh, this is a cool song. And they just like, it just worked. And I think it was kind of the same thing in Freightman too. There were people that were like, is that the same chick that was talking about 18-wheelers? And now all of a sudden she's got a truck song. Like, people the trolls on the internet, ridiculous. But a lot of people as well on the whole, oh, why do you sing with a Yank accent? Like, oh my gosh, lay it down. Like, come on. If you've listened to any modern country these days, like it's my sound. This is what I'm going for. And
Yeah.
if you don't want to hear me sing it how I sing it, well, go listen to someone else. You know, like it's getting to that point of I don't even care anymore. But at the start, I was like, oh man, this hurt my feelings. There's so many bad comments about it, and it did hit me pretty hard. But now I'm just like, whatever gets the algorithm going. You know what? I better sing a little bit more American next time so that they can, kick up the comments.
Well, it's an interesting thing to ponder when writing lyrics, I guess. It's like, well, maybe I could throw something in there that'll cause a bit of controversy.
Yeah.
But also, when people behave like that, I tend to think, God, they have a lot of time on their hands. Like, just sit around,
Like I've
yeah.
never stumbled across, someone promoting their song going, I better go and stir the pot today and, chuck in a little comment about something they were doing that I'm not a big fan of. Like I don't understand why people how they have the time of day to go on, chuck those comments up. Like what are they doing with their life? I think it's a testament to who they are, really.
Well, yeah. Look, bless, they need a hobby, and a different one to trolling you online. But let's talk about Our Place, because I think it's a fantastic song. And I do also think it's part of your origin story, because you're talking about Our Place being home. And so, Freight Man's probably chucked in there as well, a little, as a character in Our Place. So it sounds to me like you've had a lot of fun recording it. There's just a certain energy to your vocal which suggests that. So I'm wondering if that's true. Did you have fun recording it?
Absolutely. This was so much fun to record. And I mean, this is only my second time in the studio recording this one and then my next single. And it was just so much fun hearing the song, like, grow its legs. I've already said that, but that's my new phrase now. It was just so cool to hear it build from, it started the guitar riff. It was the down, 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 down. It started with that, and it was just Dello playing it on the acoustic guitar, and he was kind of filling it around. I was like, that's groovy. I like that. And we kind of pulled it from, I had a band rehearsal audio of us playing that song, and I gave that to them. I was like, yeah, this is kind of what it sounds like when we've been playing it. What do you reckon? And they pulled some sort of guitar bit out of it, and they're like, oh, we like that. We'll kind of just mesh something together. Came up with the riff, and I was like, that's something. That is it. And then anyway, we just laid down the guitar bit and some basic drums for me to record the vocals to. Next day came back in, and they had the whole track like produced up, and I just came and sat down on the couch and they hit play, and I was like, I think my jaw was like on the floor. I was like, what is this for me? Is this my song? Like, it was so cool. And looking back at like my little videos that I'd take sitting there, I was like, like a video, looking back at those videos I took and remembering how I felt of going, wow, this song's for me. Like they made that for me. This is mine. It was so cool. Like I just felt so special, and it sounded just, infectious. I was just sitting there cheesing the whole time. I was like, wow, okay, this is fun. And absolutely loved it. And then we got to record like the gang vocal bits at the end. It was like, out at our place. We recorded that like hundreds of times. Right. And it was just me and Paint sitting there like yelling it into the microphone, and hearing that come to life. Now that was exciting, because I was just thinking, all right, this sounds a bit silly right now with just us singing it, two voices, but then he'd layer it all on top of each other and then made it all happen and then put it in the mix. And oh my God, it was the coolest thing ever. Like I was just sitting there in absolute awe. And I've been in awe sitting there in the studio every single time, but this time especially, like, it was so cool. The most fun ever.
We should say Dello and Painter are M Squared, who are based in Melbourne. So obviously you have to travel to work with them. And clearly they are the right collaborators for you if they're generating that kind of response in you and you're having that much fun in the studio.
Oh, absolutely. And, I was really scared before I went there the first time. I was like, man, am I doing the right thing? I'm so scared to meet them. Like I was terrified. But, the first day that I walked in there, I was like, yep, this is right. This is where I'm meant to be. This is perfect. And second time coming back in, it was just like we were good old buddies, and it was just the coolest. The energy and, the magic that we create there just feels phenomenal. And I'm so excited to head back. I'm back there in the middle of the year. So cannot wait to cook up some new tunes.
So when was Our Place written?
It was written, it would have been like, I want to say August-ish last year. So it's still like fresh, I think. And I wrote it because actually it would have been about July because it was right before I finished my degree. And it was kind of part of one of my songwriting assessments. And we had to write to a pitch for songwriting. And she was like, our teacher was getting us to write some stuff that we hadn't really written before or give ourselves a pitch more so. And I was like, okay, well, I really want to write a party song because I don't have any cool party songs. So I was like, okay, here's my pitch. Cool party song, but one that has character in it. It's like what I said, because I was like, I don't want to just write, have a beer, have a party. I wanted it to have, that Josie flavor to it where it's got a bit of my personal story about it and it's got a bit of character. So anyway, that's what I set out to do. And I think I nailed my pitch. And I made sure that I, went into the whole dad's cooking up a storm. I was just trying to think of all the things that we do at a party here. And dad, like, it's no word of a lie. That dude, he buys like the most expensive brisket he can find out west on his way home, brings it home, cooks it up for everyone. Like, I think that's his love language, is just cooking. But he will cook up flash as brisket. And I'm talking like 23 hours of cook time.
Oh, wow.
Ridiculous, but not ridiculous because delicious. And I knew that needed to make a feature. But also I'd remembered, when like my 16th birthday party, the boys were rolling up in their my 17th and 18th, they were rolling up in 4-wheel drives and some of them were on the grass. Mum not happy about that at all. Yelling at them, get off the grass. Like, yeah, it was a few more words other than that. But that had to also make a feature. So there was just these little things that I was like, okay, this is how I'm putting the Josie sprinkle.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was very proud of how it came out. And we changed only a couple things when I went to the studio. Like, the song is predominantly written by just me. And I think I'm really proud of that as well. Being able to have a song that, I've put my heart and soul into, and it's my words and my melody and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was really cool that we didn't change too much about it. I felt really good about that.
As you should. And it is a Josie song, but also you can tell that it's authentically from your experience and the things you love as well. I'm just thinking about your dad getting the brisket out in the west of the state, because that is good cattle country. And he also has the means to get it and bring it home. And I'm guessing he probably bought it just after it was mooing. So,
probably. I don't doubt it. They would have just had it in the slaughterhouse out the back. Oh, we just got this one up. You want to take that one home? Like, that would have been how it went. And I don't doubt it. He brings home bush snags all the time. And I'm not just talking like a plain old sausage. I'm talking like, he's brought home Vegemite and cheese ones. Who'd have thought? Like,
exactly. Who would have thought?
Flavors. I mean, we've had like an apple and lamb one time, I think. Like, crazy ones. But that's the bush snag etiquette. You got to bring home all the different flavors, and that's his favorite thing, bringing home food from out west.
Well, as you said, could well be the love language. And given that you've played Country Fest, you've got some festival appearances coming up. I'm guessing our place has gone over well at festivals.
Oh, absolutely. And playing at Country Fest on the weekend, I mean, aside from the Our Place thing, best weekend of my life. It was so cool. But we opened the set with Our Place, and I think is the perfect spot for it in my set, is because it just gets everyone in the mood. They're ready. They're toe tapping. It's the party starter. So I knew it was a good set starter, and it certainly went off. And I even had some people up at the barrier that was singing along already. And I was like, okay,
love that.
I'll take it. But no, so cool. And I can't wait to see how it goes at the rest of the festivals. I've got the Winton Way at West Fest. Can't wait to hook into it there. And then the Lasso Country Music Festival, which is later this year, and south of Brizzy. Cannot wait to play it there. Yeah, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, Lasso looks like a really great festival because it's a one-day festival and it's quite close to Brisbane and the Gold Coast. I think it's between the two. So people who live in those areas can basically make a day of it and then go home at night.
Absolutely. And I love like day festivals where you can just come have the whole day for a bit of a boogie and off you go home. So no, I'm very excited, and I know I have quite a large percentage of my like Spotify listeners down south, like in Brisbane area. So I'll be interested to see how many of them roll up to Lasso. Should be good.
Well, I've got plenty of time to think about it, except I do believe tickets are selling fast for that one. So I'll put a link at the end of your interview for tickets to that. But speaking of festivals, I did see, as I said, I saw you in Tamworth and you had a very busy Tamworth because you opened for Lane Pittman, amongst other things. So I'm guessing you had a great, if tiring, festival.
Oh yeah, I mean tiring definitely. That's a high adjective for it. But it was such a great time, and the show with Lane was sold out. So I mean, you can imagine the energy there. It was just phenomenal, and I got to like kind of stand at the back before I went on and just soak in that energy and kind of just look at everyone and go, okay, yeah, righto. About to play to this, okay. Like it was really cool, and I think that adrenaline really got me up on stage, ready to roll. Like it was just such a great time, and everyone out supporting live music at Tamworth is just the best energy ever, because that's what everyone's there for. Everyone's got the same, thought in mind. They want to go and listen to some good live music and have a good time, and you can really feel that energy walking around Tamworth. I mean, even just walking through the shopping centre where I saw you, that shopping centre, the walkway, that's where I caught up with most people.
Yeah.
And it'd take 2 hours to walk from this Peel Street to the car, because you'd catch up with everyone as you walk through. And yeah, everyone's there for the same thing. They all want to have a great time and catch up with friends and listen to music. And I love it. It was so much fun. But yeah, coming back home at the end of the day, I was like, okay, social battery is flat.
Yes.
I need to charge that one up. It was a lot, but coming home from it was a lot, trying to recover from seeing so many faces every day. It was like, okay, well, how do we go back to reality now?
Yeah.
But I had the best time, and I think next year I'll probably cut the trip in half. We were there for the whole 10 days. I don't think I could do it again. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And really hot. I mean, everyone knows that. But yeah, it was a lot. So probably cut the trip in half next time. We'll see how we go. But I loved it.
I think you could cut the trip in half and not have half as much fun, if that makes sense. You'd
Yes,
still have
exactly.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, you'd fit a lot. You'd fit the 10 days into 5 if you
That's
had
right.
to.
Yeah, that's right. So when you're amongst a crowd like that one that was there for Lane Pittman, and you were saying you were looking at them before you went on stage, does that make you feel nervous, or does it make you feel energized, or kind of a combination of the two?
I think the Lane show was definitely a combination of the two. I was like a little bit nervous, more so because of just the fact that there's so many industry people in the crowd. I was like, okay, there's a lot of important people here right now. I need to put my A game on, A grade, whatever that saying is. I need to put my A game on. That's it. And I think that was what I was more nervous about. But then I was like walking through to go up to the stage, and a few people like tapped me on the shoulder. They're like, "Are you Josie?" And I was like, "Yep, that's me." They're like, "Oh my gosh, can we get a photo and all that?" And I was like,
Okay.
"Yes." I didn't think people would be saying that to me right now, but all right, let's go for it. Like people were there, and then I had a couple people that said they bought tickets just to come see me, and I was like, okay, way to make a girl feel special. I was, yeah, over the moon. And then after all that, I walked up to side of stage and I was like, all right, I'm ready to do this. I'm excited. Let's do it. And yeah, the energy was very high. I feel like I put on a really great show as a soloist, and the energy was there. I was playing my guitar real damn hard, like I always do. I had a few people comment on that. Oh, it's good to see, a female artist playing their guitar, like they're not afraid of playing the guitar. And I was like, well, thank you. I'll take it as a compliment. And I seriously had such a great time. And I was, that good mixture of like nervous but excited, which I think was, the perfect mixture for me to get up on that stage. So yeah, the best.
So yes, you kicked the year off with that festival. You have other festivals going on. Are there any festivals you would particularly like to play that you have not yet?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd love to play Groundwater. I would love to do that. So we'll see how we go this year. And the Gympie Muster, I've had a few people ask me about that, and I missed the applications this year, so that's my fault. But let's hope we can get onto it next year, because I've done the talent quest there back in 2019. So I've been there, done it, and been amongst it. It was so much fun, and I'd love to go there and actually play, a Josie show. So hopefully next year. But I would also just love to get overseas. I feel like everyone has that same, idea in mind. They want to get over to Nashville, and I would love to. That's the bucket list. Go and play like CMA Fest one day. So we'll see how that goes. Don't know, don't know how soon or far away that'll be, but you got to aim high. I've been manifesting so many things in life, and that's up there. I mean, I had been manifesting so hard to go and sing with James, and I got to sing with him on the weekend at Country Fest and sing same songs. So I'm now a very firm believer of the manifestation because it came true for me.
So we should say that is James Johnston, and you took the Kaylee Bell part in same songs. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Oh, so cool. It was the best moment ever.
Look, I do think manifesting can work, and obviously it is working for you. So I won't go into a digression about manifesting maybe the next time I speak to you, because I have had you speaking for a while. But I will say that with your streaming numbers going the way they're going, I'm pretty sure CMA Fest could be feasible.
It could be feasible.
Yeah.
I think it could. I should probably get a passport first, hey? And then because I've never been overseas. So look, I should probably take that initiative first. I can't manifest if I don't even have the means to get there. So I should probably do that first and then see how it goes.
Give the station hand getting the passport. Yes, absolutely. But Josie, I will leave it there because I've had you talking for a while. And it's always fantastic to talk to you. The new song is Our Place. It is infectious. It is dynamic. And so I hope people go and listen to it immediately. And I look forward to talking to you when your next song's out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.